What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. Very good morning, very good morning. It's going to be a real action-packed Friday for me, so I'm kind of hyped up. Here's the deal. So I'm going to give this little quick 10, 15-minute video for you all. One of the things that I'm going to do to kind of shut down the self-improvement argument is I'm going to outperform a lot of these guys that talk about self-improvement. Shout out to BGS, shout out to Glenn and Cameron. I just got done listening to their videos this morning. The one with BGS had where it was a rant. It was more of a ramble. It lacks the heat of a rant, and then a video I put in my community description, so check it out, of Glenn and Cameron. This video is a little bit ways old, but it's really one of the first times a lot of brothers really started to realize that dude's got something to say. And y'all should definitely subscribe to his channel. He has Disruptive Mail, The Mail. He has Hustlers Kung Fu, and these kind of go hand in hand. But a lot of the traditional guys, or not traditional, a lot of these new guys that want to talk about self improvement, you know, a lot of them don't really give a fuck about you. And when I say give a fuck about you, I'm talking about they don't care. They're not really passionate about you having better outcomes. They're wannabe life coaches. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. And it's somebody that has dealt with a couple of life coaches and has had quite a few mentors. I'm very good at telling the difference between somebody that actually has value and somebody that doesn't have value. I trade in information. So I know information that sounds good, information designed more to be fluff, information designed more to sell things that doesn't have anything behind it. And a lot of times, the reason why a lot of these guys, people are not really feeling what they say about improvement is because fundamentally, a lot of them don't even believe half the shit they're even saying. They use improvement, the idea of self improvement, not to really help folks, but really to just give an excuse to basically brag, either brag on their dick and brag how good they want to act like they are, even though that's not necessarily reflective in the life that they're living. And that's another big thing. Or they want to do the age old thing of shaming black men. It's very interesting to me how black men see other black men, because what you see is that black men view black men the same way that black women view black men, which is when they're selling something, they don't know how to inspire black men to do shit. So they just start shaming. And I'm going to tell you something. The most beta shit, and I don't like you really using alpha and beta, but some of the most beta shit you can do is consistently shame a group, especially a group of men, because what it really shows, it shows an absolute lack of authority, and it shows an absolute lack of real leverage in actually convincing those men. If you really understand what an alpha and a beta is, an alpha is a leader of men, and then the women see that and respond to that. But an alpha has nothing to do with necessarily getting females. What makes a lion the alpha of a pack is not all a female lionesses that's around that lion. It is the other men in the pack, or the other lions in the pack, that follow that dude. And another thing a lot of these guys fail to understand in animal kingdom is that at any point, a lion can be challenged at any point. A lot of dudes think you're just born alpha and it's just something that you're born with, which is really code for born. You're a certain height. It's like genetics, what you're given, not necessarily what you earn. And ironically, a lot of these guys like to act like they earn their way to their position. It is very obvious and apparent dudes that actually earn their way in a position, even though they may have genetic gifts, and then people that are just talking to the shit. Now, anybody that's listening to my platform, you all know that I shout out Glendon Cameron a lot. And I'm going to tell you right now, Glendon Cameron, as far as actual kinetic self-improvement, and really his message is not for just black men, it's for all men, but this is a black man that has lived a black experience to a certain extent. So he definitely understands where we're coming from. And I hear a lot of that in his message, even though he's not blackety black, and he'll say that. So I just always want to qualify that, because that's, Glendon is probably the reason why he's probably the best dude to actually speak on self improvement, probably in the manosphere. If you look at from an average of everything, when it comes to anything that has to do with your quality of life, your relationships, not just with women, but the ability to kind of move men to do things as far as business and stuff like that, how to navigate that regardless of race. Obviously, your finances, your wealth, which really the difference between finances and wealth, which is the same thing, but wealth is more time freedom. Um, and as well as your health. He is the only person that I know that is actually spoken to a lot of these different things and continues to speak to a lot of these different things and actually really gives actionable things. Now there's other channels. There's channels I can give you. I could really produce a whole repository of very valuable information that would that if you all paid me a couple of hundred, like more than a couple of $100s to give you this information, it would be well worth it because these are channels that a lot of people are not aware of. And I'm not even just talking about on YouTube. Like one of my favorite guys is Jeffrey Combs. There's a lot of stuff out there that can actually motivate you to do what you need to do, as well as give, no matter what level you're in, really show you what you need to do step by step. It's a lot of free information out there that's current and updated. And what I see in the manosphere is I see too many people talking to this shit, but not actually talking really giving action about it. And what it really is a lot of it has to do with them entering a debate that fundamentally has nothing to do with them, and then they turn around and then they're coming up with excuses rather than really hearing what people's talking about. So let's take Glenn Cameron for example. Glenn Cameron responded. This is a video that I put on my community tab with him responding to something BGS said a while ago, but the video most recently it got uploaded. Here's the thing. The thing is, Glendon has a certain honesty. Glendon to me is I have second cousins actually like him. They ain't got as much money as him, but they kind of operate in the same kind of like way that he operates. Here's the thing. There is a certain honesty and a certain like, put all the cards on the table. Let's, be frank. A frankness about what he says that a lot of these other dudes talk about self-improvement are really full of shit on. Because if you actually get them on like one-on-one, they say different shit than when they're talking in their videos. Like now they want to give all the nuances. Like most of these niggas, like when you look at, and it's not about the fact that he's been homeless. Even when it comes to dealing with women, this particular video was actually should black women respect black men, and he basically broke it down from his perspective. And I agree with about 95% of everything he said. And under 5% is really minuscule. But he talked about, he said, you have to get better standards, have better standards to get better women. But what he says is he makes it very clear that he says those standards, when he says women, he's not just talking about black women. If black women fulfill those standards, then that's who you go with. If other women do, then that's who you go with. And here's the thing, he didn't throw black women under the bus. He said there are two predominant groups of women. There's more, but there's two. And you'll hear it, so you should listen to the video. It's only 27 minutes long. He says there is the new age progressive black women is what he calls it. And he says it's the old school women. He says most of what the manosphere talk about are the more old school traditionalized women and how they've traditionally operated. These are the women, if you listen to BGS's rant, these are the women he's talking about. And then you got the new age, which I do see that. I do see younger women that see the bullshit and they're not operating in that same mentality, and they don't have these same problems because they're not operating in those same mindsets. This doesn't mean they're perfect, because nobody is, but they're damn sure in different realms. So a lot of times people will perceive everything that I say as, oh well, all women must be bad. I've never said that. The thing is, I see both sides of it. But it ain't no 50-50, but I see both sides of it. And there's a frankness to what he says that, and not only what he says, it's about where he's come from. Because he's a 6 foot dude. He's always been a 6 foot dude. But it's not even about him being homeless. But there is a certain honesty and actionable shit based on that information that you just are not getting from these other dudes. These other dudes are basically selling you bullshit. Like BGS said, it's very obvious they're selling you bullshit. You know, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Going back to Obsidian, cause shout out to Obsidian. I was on Obsidian stuff. Um, I was on Obsidian's platform, which Mixler, which it was very interesting. It was very good. I like the Zoom stuff and how he's got that set up. At the end of the day, guys like Obsidian draw power from bullshit. And when I say that, I'm not saying what they say is bullshit, but what I'm saying is, you know, what a lot of people forget is oil. When back in the candle oil days, when you know you lit up stuff with candles, and the gasoline was actually a byproduct of candle oil, and gasoline had no value until the engine came along, and then all of a sudden, the rest is history. Obsidian draws power from people being full of shit. I made a statement, he agreed with this, and I said, if black women were content with their choices, Obsidian would have no credibility to talk to. He'd be just a nigga ranting, just another old nigga, basically. If he was saying the same shit he's saying now, it would fall on deaf ears because there would be no fertile ground by which for him to, for his message to platform to actually cement itself. Now, Obsidian is very good at delivery, but what gives his message a lot of spirit is the fact that a lot of these other guys are speaking the shit that we know is not true. And they keep on wanting to sell the same bullshit rather than actually looking and really looking at what's going on. And I'm not necessarily saying agree with me or agree with anybody else, but honing their message to actually speak to the reality of what's going on. Shout out to Keith Lamont. I got to remember to figure out how to unblock folks. Because I don't know who the fuck blocked him out of my moderators, but whatever. And he speaks to that. And he was saying there's no nuance. Dudes there's degrees to dudes. And you don't see that spoken. It's either incel or he's select. This is how black men are talking about this shit. You either you ain't got no problem with women, or you are basically in a fucking basement somewhere. There is no nuance. And I can tell you, and I'm not saying everybody is talking that way, but a lot of that's what the through lines, and keep it all the way real. And it's even the way Obsidian talks, when he talks about this war between like non-select guys. I don't give a fuck about that, because I don't see it that way. Because this idea of, because here's the thing. If most men are not built in such a way where women are just giving pussy on command. That's just not how it is. That's not most dudes' experience. Now, most dudes may have that experience with one few women here and there, but they're not having that experience consistently like that. So at the end of the day, to even like when it comes to the war, I may joke about it and call it the war of the roses, but at the end of the day, that's not what my role is. My role is to show you what the options is. His role may be to basically be a battering ram and constantly hit it hard. That's not my role. And at the end of the day, I've always said that Obsidian, it kind of reminds me of Colonel Jessup from A Few Good Men. There's somebody that needs to be on that damn wall. And I have no problem with being Obsidian. I personally don't prefer to be Tommy Sotomayor. I'd rather be Obsidian and Jap. Because at the end of the day, even though their messages may not coincide, even though a lot of them do, at the end of the day, you can't argue that shit. And that's what the job is. So basically speak the shit in such a way where it can't be argued. And quite frankly, BGS is pretty much on that wall too. Because he speaks more for SYSBM than anybody. But when it comes to self-improvement, like a lot of these messengers, they are using, like, it's like BGS said, they are really using self-improvement as a mechanism to try to shame black men. Saying the reason why it's not that you see a reality that's bullshit, it's really that you're fucked up. So basically, there's no, and I understand, because a lot of these same dudes that I'm even talking about are not necessarily deifying black women, but what they operate on is they say there is nothing to that black women just have lack of respect for black men off jump. It's only that you start up like you ain't shit, and then it's your job to become not shit, to the point where these women have no choice but to submit. Even though black women don't submit to even the dudes that they giving pussy to. The child support courts is proof of that. Even though a lot of these dudes ain't even fucking black women to the extent that they act like they are. Because my thing is this, if you not fucking black, I ain't saying you got only fuck women, but if you ain't fucking black women, you really ain't got no right to tell a black man about how to deal with black women. if you ain't been fucking with black women like that. If you can't give it, because at the end of the day, you speaking on shit you don't really know, or you kind of low key know, and you just don't want to really say it that way. Because as soon as these dudes start revealing, that's another reason why I respect Glenn and Cameron, because he's very honest about his dating life. As soon as these people start revealing, like to the extent that they fuck or don't fuck with black women, then all of a sudden their credibility is gone, because even black women are not gonna deal with that, and they know that shit's true. That's why they don't like some of these people getting on like Nicole Michelle's platform and shit like that. If you actually have the question, so what's your experiences with black women? And they say, well, I don't fuck with black women like that. Do you know how goofy that shit would look? Exactly. Anyway, I just want to put this out here for y'all. Yeah, I have seen. Yeah, I did see that. I need to upload that, and that's the other side of it. That is Excalibur. So I'll upload the new Black Girl. Yeah, Glenn and Cameron had some of the best shit out there. He's probably the most underrated dude that I see. But anyway, with that said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.